boys and girls, it's time for the Gianna Volpe Report, brought to you in part by Maximus Health and Fitness, 130 East Main Street, Riverhead, and by Michelangelo's of Mattituck, Mattituck Plaza Shopping Center on the main road in Mattituck. Good morning, Gianna.
Good morning, Bruce. So excited about this morning's show. We've got Maritime Festival coming up again. Last year was the 25th anniversary, but this year is actually the 25th anniversary of Greenport community coming together to resurrect Bug Light, the Long Island Beach Bar Lighthouse, which is pretty much the biggest beneficiary of the festival at the East End Seaport Museum and Marine Foundation.
You know, most people don't realize about the Maritime Festival, and you may not have either. This has all begun like in 1989 by people like Bill Claudio and others, because at that point Greenport was kind of down on its luck, and it was a way to spur on the whole revitalization effort.
That's and what obviously it's been a success because it brings lots and lots of people out after the traditional tourist season, although on the North Fork, the quote-unquote tourist season goes straight through to January because you get the pumpkin pickers, the tree cutters, all that stuff. So anyway, this morning our first guest is Sharon Sailor, who's on to talk about the Paul Drum Children's Educational Fund and the Pirate and Mermaid Breakfast that they're holding this Sunday morning. Paul Drum is my age. He's a year older. He's 29, but way cooler than I could ever hope to be. Last year, he was mayor for a day at the festival. And this year, actually at the Land and Sea Gala, which we're gonna be talking about with our second guest, Sarah Phillips, he's going to be named police chief for a day by Chief Martin Flatley. So good morning, Sharon. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
So well. So I was so sad I wasn't able to make it last year, and I won't be able to make it this year either because you know me, I work like an animal. But I wanted to have you on to talk about this breakfast and to talk about Paul. He's such a special person in our community and so loved. And I know that the Paul Drum Children's Educational Fund was able to fund weeks worth of programming for young local children. Dave Burson and the Glory, teaching kids about water safety. Please tell us more about Paul and about the breakfast and the fundraiser.
Well, yes, we did. We funded 7 weeks of programs through the Seaport Museum. Kids didn't have to pay anything, and that was all funded from the breakfast. So this Sunday, again, is the second annual breakfast. It'll be from 9 till 10:45. You can buy tickets at Front Street up until Sunday morning. They'll be $15 if you buy them at the door or online. They're $18. It's a Pirate and Mermaid Breakfast. It'll be an open seating, traditional breakfast. We'll have Dave Burson will be there doing shanty songs. We have pirates and mermaids throughout the whole. There'll be decorations, face painters, music. It'll be a great extravaganza. Supervisor Russell will be there. We'll have just all sorts of fun stuff. There are balloons. There's gift bags for the kids, and it's for the adults too. There's just as many adults as there are kids. Adults without kids come, and Front Street Station absorbs the cost of the breakfast, so all the proceeds can go to the Paul Drum program to fund for the kids for the summer. And, you know, this last year was the first year, so we're ever-growing program, and it's going to be great. We have already more tickets sold than we did last year, and we expect a great turnout. So,
right, I saw Brian's got his ticket already. I'm hoping that he'll be my proxy there this year because it's such it. I mean, knowing me personally, this is right up my alley. The fact that you've got pirates and mermaids walking around, and can you get your photos taken with them?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we have face painters, and so you can get your pictures taken. And of course, it gets on Facebook. And last year, a lot of the local press was there. So pirate and mermaid pictures made the press. So it was a lot of fun. The kids loved it, and like I said, a lot of the adults loved it. Probably a little more than the kids, I think.
Right? Yeah, it's that little bit of reliving your childhood a little bit. So please tell us a bit about Paul himself and his thoughts, how he got involved in all of this.
Well, he got involved with it just because, he's involved with the restaurant. He has Down syndrome, but you would never know it except for his look. He's an outgoing kid. He just loves everything. When we had our other restaurant in Mattituck, he just sort of, the community embraced him, and we were a little concerned when we went to Greenport, how he would be received. And, Greenport embraced him, and, he's quote-unquote the mayor of Greenport now, and he was last year, and now, of course, Chief Flatley's going to make him police chief for the day at Land and Sea, which you're going to talk about later on with Sarah. And, he just loves Greenport, and Greenport loves him, and now he's, he has his program at the Seaport Museum, which, does well. It teaches the kids, they did water safety. They did a touch tank at Cornell, but a touch tank. They went out with Dave Burson. So it teaches them about the aquaculture. It teaches them early to appreciate, everything, the uniqueness that we have around us early. And, it just goes to show everybody deeper than that, no matter what your situation is, you can give back to your community.
Well, the other interesting thing, not to interrupt, but look at what's going on, speaking of community, what's happened in Greenport since 1989. In fact, you would have to say that that you could see the visible signs of Greenport coming around maybe by 1992 or 93.
Oh, my gosh.
And here you are now. Look at where Greenport is. It's like it's the gem of the North Fork.
It's honestly the Brooklyn of it's like Greenport and Montauk a little bit. Or Sag Harbor even. They're like the Brooklyn of the East End. Like there's a lot of gentrification. There's a lot of young people moving into the area. If you think about Lucharitos, it's a tequila taco bar where 20-somethings are just jam-packed in there, doing karaoke and having a good time on weekends. I mean, I feel like when I moved to the East End, 4 or 5 years ago, I felt like I was one of 10. And now there's just a whole community of young people and young families moving out there. It's completely different. But the great thing is that the feeling doesn't seem to have changed too much when you look historically. 25 years ago, the community came together, raised $140,000 to rebuild Bug Light at Greenport Yacht, and put it back out there. So this is a very tight-knit community that is still exactly that way.
In a lot of ways it is, but you got to remember, Gianna, and pardon me, Sharon, for sticking my 2 cents here, that first Maritime Festival, the Carousel, which is now so prominent at Mitchell Park, and Mitchell Park itself, the Carousel was in a highway barn on, might have been Front Street or one of the side streets, and Mitchell Park was still the site of the old Mitchell's restaurant and the old oyster factory.
Wow.
And they were vacant and closed for years. Anyway, enough of the history lesson, Sharon.
No, and the great thing is that when it comes to the Greenport of now, Front Street itself is a staple and a total. Like, I remember, excuse me, speaking of Chief Flatley, the last time I ran into him was at Front Street Station. He stopped by the field goal kicking contest, which is, like a total locals event.
Yes, another staple.
Yes. And you guys only took it over in 2013. Was it Front Street Station before then?
It was the name that was still Front Street Station, but different owners. But a lot of the same traditions have come through, but everybody's embraced us, and I think we've embraced everybody. We've tried to just more than take over the restaurant, but like have tried to become part of the community as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as far as the family's history, like Doolittle's in Mattituck, I mean, you guys are very well known and very well loved as restaurateurs on the North Fork, and from the old guard. That's what I think is that's my favorite part about you guys. I know we've got to hit the break soon, I guess now, but thank you so much, Sharon, for coming on the show this morning.
You.
And everyone, get your tickets this Sunday, 8:45.
9:45, 9 o'clock to 10:45.
Okay, 9 o'clock, and you can get tickets at the restaurants, or where can you get them online?
Right, and you can also get them at the door on Sunday. Thank you so much, Gianna.
All right, take care. When we get back, we'll have Sarah Phillips.
Bye-bye.
Back on the Gianna Volpe Report, brought to you by Maximus Health and Fitness, 130 East Main Street, Riverhead, and by Michelangelo's of Mattituck and the Mattituck Plaza Shopping Center on Route 25 in Mattituck. Okay, Gianna, time now for round two. And I'm getting the feeling that the overarching theme for this morning is the Greenport Maritime Festival.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing bigger, especially on the North Fork this weekend. And I'm so psyched to have Sarah on with us, because I remember last year, I guess it was late August, I was having my first date on Shelter Island, a first date on Shelter Island, and I met with Sarah beforehand to talk about Land and Sea, what she had planned, because she was sort of taking the events over as an organizer. And she was telling me, it's going to be nothing like it ever was before. We've got, I think you had Jose Cuervo. Is that who the first?
It was actually Maestro Dobal, which is part of the Cuervo family, yes.
And she's like, we've got corporate sponsors. We've got this big tent. We've got Kara Hovland, who's going to do this amazing chalk, because she does phenomenal chalk work, at the entrance of Bootleg Alley. And I mean, please tell me about how last year went, and then what you've got going on for this year.
Good morning, Gianna. So
Good morning.
Last year we took the event to a larger level. It was definitely still steeped in the history of what it's about, which is celebrating all the participants who are volunteering their time and efforts to kind of honor our Grand Marshal, honor the cause of Maritime, and help us raise funds for the Maritime Museum and our educational programs and a lot of the other restoration programs that we do out here. So we just wanted to make people aware of that. We wanted them to know that it wasn't just a party we were throwing because we're good at throwing parties. We wanted them to know there was a reason behind it. And getting the entire village involved and getting all of the restaurants and some corporate sponsors out here for spirits and the wineries to incorporate us was really important, and it went extremely well. We had every big-name local politician that you wanted to show up and have a great time. We had the 1943 pizza truck. We had Greenport Harbor's beer truck, and they announced their new beer last year, which was a Kolsch named after Bug Light, our lighthouse.
Right.
And
I remember that.
Yes, that comes down and they shuck oysters for all of us, which is fantastic because the oystering program out here has grown immensely over the last, 8 to 10 years, and it's really providing a whole new lifestyle for a lot of young entrepreneurs who want to get dirty. So
Right. Like Josh Clouch, he's got his shuck truck now.
yeah,
And, I mean, and it's funny because it totally ties into the historical element because we were once an oyster town.
we were once a major commercial fishing village. Our ports are deep. That's why that exists. So we just want to keep part of that alive, no matter how we shift. We're definitely a summer tourist destination, but there is a year-round community here, and commerce stems from that.
Absolutely. And so you got this year. You're doing it at the Greenport Yacht Yard. Is that the same yacht yard that I think it's
that
the
Buzz Light
same
was
one.
built at, actually.
Right.
Steve Clark and Greenport Yacht and Shipbuilding Company hosts over 15 different of the major shipbuilding companies out here. So it's a really iconic location, and if you've never got to walk on property, you don't want to miss it. I mean, we're obviously going to jazz it up a little, but naturally, it is just so fantastic, and so the magnitude of everything on that property, because they're working with such large boats, such large machinery, it's really magical.
It really is. It's such a cool space. I remember Pat Mundis taking me over there before Maritime Festival last year, because I was doing a piece for the Express on the Classic Boat Show, and she brought me over there, and it's such a cool space. So what do you have planned? What are you going to do?
Well, the village has donated a lot of our maritime nautical lighting, and our entrance tent will be at the top, and then you'll walk down that rust alley, and the tent is 100% working waterfront. It's incredible. You have a full view of the harbor, the jetty, you have a full view of Shelter Island. Greenport Harbor has their truck. Noah's will have their food truck this year. 6 different wineries pouring. We added a VIP hour this year with that, shucking oysters and doing a full raw bar. Points East will be playing music for that first hour. Of course, included WEHM radio. They always do a live broadcast for us, which is really fun, kind of brings people into the event if they can't make it, and or at least entices them to get their tushes down there. Yeah, it should be really interesting, and it's also interesting that Pat Mundis is who introduced you to the property last year, and she is who we're honoring this year as our Grand Marshal as a female mariner. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's our Grand Marshal.
I did not know that. That's perfect.
She put together this incredible slideshow of all of the working boats, the most historical boats that have come out of Greenport that will be showing on Friday night as well.
Oh, she's just such a fascinating person, and this, I mean, the knowledge there is just, it's as deep as the ocean itself. And
she's
are you
no joke.
She
could be a little intimidating if you didn't know how incredibly kind she was. I mean, you read her bio, and any woman who could be the captain of an Exxon oil tanker for 17 years, got to be a pretty tough cookie.
Oh yeah, she was one. I remember interviewing her when I was still on Shelter Island, and I guess I had been a reporter like 2 months, and definitely one of the, you could tell. I remember she had gotten like a new job, or she was leaving a job, and I asked her a tough question. I had asked her like what she was being paid, and she was just like, "I'm sorry, I don't share that information with anybody. Do you?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." but so cool. Let me ask, are you going to be doing the mermaid kissing booth again?
Well, this year we're not doing the mermaid kissing booth at the event because last year it was a little chilly in the outside part. So unfortunately, Liz, who played our mermaid from the Times Vintage, had made a request not to this year, which I think she'll regret. So I'm going to let her come back on her own. I'm never going to force anyone to dress like a mermaid.
Liz was the mermaid last year?
Yeah, she was a gorgeous mermaid. There's actually a beautiful picture of her in the article that the Suffolk Times puts out for Maritime Festival. It was gorgeous, but it was like the one night of Maritime Festival last year was a bit chilly. And she really toughed it out as the mermaid. So
nice.
We invited her in the tent this year.
Nice. If it was Catherine Schroeder that took the photo, I totally believe that. She's a great photographer.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. I didn't know it was Liz.
Yeah.
I wanted to come last year. I won't be able, well, actually, I don't know. So tell us when it will be, where you can get tickets, all that.
Of course. So the tickets are available at easttimemaritimemuseum.org. That's our new website for not only the Maritime Festival, but for the museum as a whole, in case you want to see what we're all about. And Friday night, the 25th, 5:30 to 6:30 will be the VIP hour. 6:30 to 9:30 will be the entire Land and Sea Gala.
Nice. So 6:30 to 9:30?
Yes. And the VIP really actually has a value. You're not just showing up early. I always hate that. So they're actually providing live music just for that part, and a really extensive raw bar, so it should be quite fun. Definitely worth the extra money.
So what's going on at the raw bar? What's going to be in it?
Well, definitely a plethora of East End oysters. There's going to be little neck clams, shrimp, kind of what we have here now. We're into cockle season. We're into oyster season. So, and it's really nice to have Spot come down. I can kind of just hand that project off to them and Little Creek Oyster. They know what they're doing. They don't need my help.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Little Creek's going to be shucking?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I did at the festival magazine for Sag Harbor Express. One of the pieces that I did in there is like a tutorial on how to open an oyster, as told by Jackson, the son there at Little Creek Oyster, who's one of the coolest kids. And one of the coolest and most hardworking kids that I've ever met.
Yeah, the family's amazing. They're a really great company, and what they've created here is new and very innovative, but at the same time iconic and classic. So,
right, and totally works. Totally works with the like the tradition of what Greenport is all about. It was so great to have you on the show. This is the first time I've had you on.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
My pleasure. Bruce, is there anything that you want to know about Land and Sea?
No, I think you guys have covered everything, and and I sure do appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time as always, Sarah.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a great day, guys.
All right. That was Sarah Phillips Loth. But this is a big weekend in Greenport, Gianna. Before we hit the break, huge weekend, and it's interesting how the event has grown from being a one-day affair to a two-day affair, and now it's like the whole weekend. I think starting Friday night.
Yeah. No, it's going. It's little by little. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's the same thing with the year-round population, with the tourist season itself. I know, actually, after Land and Sea, that ends, around 9. From 9 to midnight, down at Blue Canoe, which is just a walk down Mitchell Marina. The Hoodoo Loungers are going to be playing there until midnight. It's really like, it's not just an all-weekend affair. It's like all weekend, morning to, way past late. So, I don't know. I'm so excited because this is like it's honestly, it's like my favorite time of year on the North Fork because it represents what North Fork does best, which is coming together to take care of its own. So that's another great Gianna Volpe report, if I do say so myself.
Well, and you did.
And I said, I will talk to you next Thursday morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Gianna.
All right. Take care, Bruce.